Gotta wait for the second stand to come on. When the beat come on. When the beat come on. Where my girls at? Where my girls at? Oh my gosh. You know, for real. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be here. Wisdom Wednesday, or Humpback Wednesday. We can call it all kinds of days. This is your host today, Gloria Mayfield Banks. And I'm so glad to be here with you guys. You know what? That song, Where Your Girls At, is becoming real because we are all over the place for real. Like today, there's 3, there's 4, there's 3. Chris is going to join us on the radio. You guys, seriously, it is such a good thing to be with us. I've had a whirlwind last couple of days. I was in Florida. I was in Baltimore. I was in Washington, D.C. last night, you guys. I was in Washington, D.C., and it was fire. I went to another fashion show. That is now becoming my thing. My thing is going to these fashion shows. Oh, my gosh. The style, not only the style of the models, but the style of the audience. I just love to see the fashion of the audience. I guess they get all dressed up when they're getting ready to go for modeling for when they're going to be in the show. And this woman, Havana, I think her name is, she only had regular people in the show. So she didn't have any models in the show. They were all regular people. Then I was there with a girlfriend of mine who I went to Harvard Business School with. Her name is Desiree Rogers, and she just purchased Fashion Fair and Black Opal. So it was exciting that they did the makeup for the fashion show. We had dinner beforehand, yakety-yak, talking about everything that went on behind the whole purchasing of Fashion Fair and the whole rebranding of it and how they're coming out with it. It's very interesting, you guys. I would like to think that we shared a home together when both of us were in school together. It was pretty amazing. So it was a great catch up. So we got a lot to talk about today, And then the news is fire. So we're going to meet everybody first. But I just want to tell the listeners, listen, Linda, listen. Okay. It's your time to shine. We're going to talk about women in business, your time to shine, how maybe you had to put it down for a minute for your family, for your friends, then you had to pick it back up again, and you're running with all your might. So this is a great show for you to lean in. This is a great show for you guys to finally pick up your phone and dial in and leave a comment with us live with your voice. If you call in at 313-778-7600, we would love you to join us. We have a guest today. We're going to bring him to the forefront just as soon as we check in with the guests, with our host at the Voice of Friendship. So first, we're going to go down to Ohio. Sabrina Goodwin Monday in your stripes. What's happening? What's going on, Sabrina?
Everything. Desiree, Gloria, I think she has some Tulsa roots. I think so. We got to talk about that. But yeah, okay. I think her grandfather or great-grandfather might have had a Black-owned hotel in 1921, the Stratford family. So she's either married into that family, big, wonderful, plush hotel back in the 1920s in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And so I really think there is a connection there. I've been meaning to ask you about that, so we have to catch up there. But congratulations to
I have
her.
To check on that for real.
Yeah. Congratulations to her on acquiring Fashion Fair and Black Opal. That's huge. Huge. We want to know a lot more about that. Kudos to her. A lot going on in the news. We've got cases that we're watching. We're waiting for some decisions to be made. Being very prayerful for Julius Jones out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. His execution date is tomorrow. And Governor Stitt is sitting on the decision. It's up to him.
What are you hearing, Sabrina, since you got an ear for Oklahoma politics? What are you hearing?
Mom is the word. I mean, I was asking my sister, State Representative Regina Goodwin, I was like, Regina, there's got to be an inner circle. What do you hear out of that camp? What is thinking? What is he leaning toward? She's saying they can't hear a word. And so everybody's on pins and needles. They're, camping out at the prison where Julius is. They're camping out at the state hospital where his family is holding court. And honestly, my stomach is just in knots. Like, what is going to happen? Just like on these cases, I've just been so unsettled today because so many lives are at stake. This Rittenhouse trial, what is going to happen there? And so just being prayerful. I know First Lady said she wants us to be hopeful, and we are being as hopeful as we possibly can. But you guys, we got a lot riding in these next couple of days because I believe the country could erupt one way or another based on these decisions. So
Right.
that's kind
They're
of
going
where
down
I
at the
am, what I'm
exact same
thinking.
time.
Yeah,
Yes,
going down at
the
the
same
exact
time.
same time. Yeah, it's
Right.
like, you know, a bomb, ticking time bomb. And so that's what's on my mind with trying to keep all the balls of life in the air. That's what we do, right? That's what we do. So glad to have you back, Gloria. We missed you. Glad to have you back. Caterina.
Yeah.
Well,
What's going on there, Sabrina?
this same thing. Super heavy. Sabrina, I've had the same thing on my mind. I just wrote his name down again to really, really pray. I mean, I'm really going to be just, thinking of him up until that time that the governor, why wait till the last minute? He could make that decision while we're
exactly.
on the radio.
That's
right?
human torture. Isn't that torture to make the family and him wait to the last minute,
Absolutely. I got some really good news about my friend, and actually it's going to be the show. We're going to be talking about it on Friday. And so just many of you have been praying for my friend who was diagnosed with COVID. And so we're going to be talking about miracles. And so anybody out there who has experienced just the miracle of life in your family, yourself personally, comment in the chat, because we want you to be a part of what we're going to do on Friday. The big news, Gloria, we were talking about the infrastructure bill, really big, $1.2 trillion. And Chris may talk about that because the president is in your town right now, literally. So I don't know if you have any news about that, but we watched it. And so it's money for transit and rail, amen. Money for broadband upgrade, like we need that. Money for roads, upgrading airports. How many of us have gone through airports, ports, waterways, electric vehicles? Improving power and water system. I know that's big everywhere, especially in Michigan too. And environmental remediation. And, goes through and talks all about how we're going to pay for it. That's a whole show in and of itself. But this is huge. We need it so badly. Hey, badly. Caterina, and it's going to be jobs.
It's going to be what?
Major jobs. Major jobs.
Right, major jobs. Mm-hmm. Listen, they got $50 billion going to cybersecurity and climate change. $50 billion. So there's a big chunk going towards that. There's some large chunks in it. They got, I read that there is, what is that number? 55 billion for water infrastructure. Coming out of what's going on in Michigan, 55 billion. So for him to make the announcement in Detroit, in Michigan, was a really big deal. That was a big deal.
Right. And you know what? What a time to be a skilled trades person because of all of this money that, is getting ready to take place all over the country. That's exciting. And then another thing that's really exciting, and this is something that which you should share, I would say, parents, when your high schoolers and junior high school children are, at that point where they're trying to decide, what should my major be? This is a time to say you need to be, STEM. You need to be in your sciences, technology. If you are in the science or the technology or the medical industry, you will always have a job. I mean, they're looking for nurses. So many nurses have walked off the job, right? Because of COVID. So there are some jobs that we just need to impress upon our children and our children's children. Listen, when you're thinking about what you may want to be, if you're good at any of the science, the technology, and the medical field, that's the place you want to go. But you know what? So much is going on, you guys. What really caught my attention today, and I had a chance to watch it for a little while, is the conversation that's going on right now in Congress, and they're looking to censure Republican Representative Paul Gosar. Okay, they want to strip him from his committee post. And I mean, just listening to the conversation, this representative posted a meme video to his Twitter account showing him appearing to kill Democratic Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and attacking President Biden. Are you kidding me that there would even be a conversation as to whether or not to strip him from those committees? I mean, you think about bullying at school. You thinking about how we tell our children what's appropriate, what's inappropriate. And the bottom line is he is a grown man that has been, in Congress. He should know better. And to begin to justify and to say, well, if the shoe was on the other foot, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, two wrongs don't make a right. Even if the Democrats did not step up when they could have or should have, does not mean that they should not still step up and do the right thing. So when I tell you, watching that just had my blood boiling, and I was talking to the TV, and I got to remember, I was talking to a gentleman yesterday. He said, that's why I don't watch the news. I just don't watch it. And I said, you know what? I see why, but you have to watch so that you can understand just how fragile our democracy is. When I say I've never known that our democracy this until in office, and I'll say it. That's exactly what I said, and I'm not taking it back. I did not know how fragile it was until he took office, and to see everything that's going down now. So you can tell I'm passionate, I'm excited, but I can't wait to tackle the conversation that we're going to have today. So back to you, Gloria.
Well, girl, let's bring all that passion right over here to We Got Issues, because we definitely got some issues up in this camp. We got some issues in this camp. And you guys, I wish you guys could see the behind the scenes with the Force of Friendship, because one person sends a text, next thing you know, all of us on CNN trying to figure out what's going on. This one's figured out, this text message in the middle of the night, text messages all over the place. It's crazy. But we do have a guest. So let's bring Marchetta Hill forward, because we're so excited to have her here. We're going to be able to see her face for just a second. Hi, Marchetta. We're so glad to have you on. Hello. We're excited to have you. We're not going to allow the time to cut you off, because I don't want that to happen. But I want to remind the listeners that are from all over the world, we're going to be talking about a time to shine. Let me tell you a little bit about Marchetta before we go to break real quickly. She's a woman of God, mother and wife of 30 years, and she genuinely loves to see other people succeed. After taking a leap of faith, leaving corporate America, she started on a journey of entrepreneurship, to which she developed a passion of empowering others and educating them on the importance of financial literacy. You guys, she has such an incredible story. I'm going to ask her to tell more of her story when we come back. But I want to tell you that her daughter has worked with me for over a year and a half, and she's such a bright light, loves her mama. When I tell you, when you have a daughter that loves your mama like she loves her mama, it really is so funny. And she's one of those people who's moved from San Diego to Atlanta, but you'll never know she lives in Atlanta because she talks about San Diego so much. So that is so funny. And I'm so excited to have her here and to have you here, because I've heard so much about you from her. You guys, we're going to talk about women. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship. We're going to talk about stepping into your light. We're going to be talking about It's Your Turn. And when we come back, we're going to hear a little bit more about Marchetta, and then we're going to hear from her ourselves. So we're going to go to a commercial break real quick, because this is 9:10 a.m., the Superstation out of Detroit, Michigan at WFDF. We got issues. See you in a minute. we are back. We are back. We are back. It's exciting to be back. It's exciting to be back. Okay, so first, let me say this. November is National Entrepreneurial Month. I don't know if you guys knew that, but President Biden declared this as Entrepreneurial Month. He said, National Entrepreneurs Month. I call upon all Americans to commemorate this month with appropriate programs and activities to celebrate November 16th, which was yesterday, as National Entrepreneurs Day. He talks about how entrepreneurs have made such a big difference for our world, and we're going to talk a little bit about that later. But Marchetta, let me just say this. With over 15 years of combined experience in program and personal management, administration, training, and customer service, a broker for Green Street Benefits in San Diego, she has an excellent ability to analyze and evaluate the effectiveness of services from, listen to this, you guys, credit restoration, money management, and budgeting tools. And we've talked a lot about that on this show, and women always lean in on this topic. So that's great. Utilizing her amazing, superior, critical thinking, problem-solving skills, and driven to succeed, her attitude inspires others to implement positive habits. So I'm loving that. A true servant leader who's passionate about helping others to, listen to this, you guys, rebuild, restore, and receive benefits. I love that, because you're not just talking about what you're getting now, but you're making sure that people are open to receiving. Marchetta, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about your journey. Tell us a little bit about the guest that we have on today on We Got Issues, because we want to hear from you.
First of all, let me just say I am super, super pumped and excited to be here amongst the force of friendship. You guys are absolutely awesome. Yes, I'm coming in with high energy because, as we say, high energy equals high income. Write that down. So just to share a little bit about myself, I am, as Gloria said, first and foremost, I'm a mom. I'm a woman of God. Let me just start out by saying that He is first and foremost in my life, and a person that has spent years of her life sacrificing. When I say sacrificing, I mean the laying down of yourself and giving of yourself to propel others. And I want to say that and make sure that I am clear that there's nothing wrong with that. Because the word of God says the greatest among you is your servant. So let me just make that clear. But about me, I'm just a mom, a person who has spent years in corporate America, as far as being a programmer, training others, teaching others, giving up my time and talents and treasures to others. And then I came upon to where I got a little bit like, okay, all of these gifts and talents that I am using that God has given me to propel others, I could use those, to propel their success to do mine. So that's my journey. I'm a mom. I'm a wife of 32 years. As a matter of fact, it'll be 32 years in December.
We celebrating that, girl. We're celebrating that. You're in the number 2 spot. You're in the number 2 spot over here. You're in the number 2 spot. Chris is at 33. You're at 32. Sabrina's at 27. We're counting down.
Love it. Yes, it's been a journey. It's been a journey. And now I'm just on that turnaround of me, right? So after spending all of these years raising my beautiful daughter, thank you, Jesus, and being a devoted mom, my husband is retired military. He spent a 20-year career. And so that requires a level of sacrifice in itself.
Beautiful.
And so after that, it's like, okay, now it's my time. So I don't want to go give you too far ahead of you, Gloria, because I can go on.
This is good. I love the fact that you said it's your time. And one of the things that you want to talk about is it's your time to shine. And I love the fact that you said, I'm not apologizing for it. It is the smart choice that I made. And I wanted to make that choice. But we always tell people that there's times when you get to choose again in life. If you're lucky enough, you have the opportunity to choose a direction in your life again and again and again, and to create your next. What I want to say just for a second is I want to say that women entrepreneurs is such a big part. And I do want to hear, Marchetta, about your transition from employee, corporate America, to employee. Before you do that, though, I want to talk about the reasons. These are 5 reasons why women love to fall in love with entrepreneurship. Number 1, they love the fact that it allows them to have independence. because that is giving people a lot of flexibility. Because right now, when you listen to the news, we're listening to so many people looking for people to work. And a lot of it is because, I listened today, because women have considered what they've been doing. The pandemic made them think. And so they made some switches on what they're doing. Number two, you can put your passion into your work. So they love the opportunity to work in the areas that they love. Number three, they start a new venture. Starting a new adventure can allow them to relocate if they want to. So it allows them the flexibility to move around. Number four, you have more control over your earnings when you're an entrepreneur. And number five, it says when you have a personal passion, it never feels like work. It feels like it's okay if I'm working in my gifts so I can do something else. So tell us about your transition, Marchetta, from corporate to entrepreneurship.
Okay. So this took place about it's really new to me, about 5 years ago. Well, actually six years ago, 2015, we're in 2021. And I was just at a point to where, you get into the daily routine. When you're in corporate America, you get into this, daily routine. And I'm like, Father, I am in this industry, and the industry, sales and marketing was my background as well. And I was in an industry to where I love to serve people. I'm a natural servant. So in my capacity, I was able to serve families and help families, through my company. But when the company took a shift in how they wanted to, charge people more and do things, it started to affect my level of integrity. How am I serving people and helping people when what I am offering them is going to be to their detriment? And so I contemplated leaving, and it was like, okay, you're a servant though. So the skills and the things that I have put in you and placed in you are not just for you. That's obvious, but also for you to be able to sustain yourself. See, as long as I was in corporate America, yes, I was making a six-figure plus income, absolutely. But it depended upon the people above me to be able to sustain, to propel me. And so the Father said to me, right, you can do this. You need to be self-sufficient. Mm-hmm. You take the skills and the talents that I've placed in you to be able to sustain and propel your own self. And in the course of doing that, bring others with you. Encourage others. So that was my journey. It's just that I made a decision. It was just a click to where I have to take all of the skills and all of the things that I've learned and I've honed and I've acquired through corporate to take those and make that transition for myself. Because if the company was to go under, where would that leave me? Yes, I have all of this training, all of this background, all of this. Okay, but what if the company goes under? Where am I?
Right.
So that at that moment, Gloria, that is when I made the decision, and listening to my Father. Yes. And I mean my Heavenly Father, listening to his wisdom and his guidance and say, hey, he had me. Because that's scary. That's scary when you're going from, a six-figure income to say, hey, okay, what if I don't make $1 tomorrow? It's also a faith walk.
Okay. So talk to the audience, because when you said I did it anyway, but I was afraid. And I have faith, but I still know that this was the plan for him, but I did it anyway, because I believe that we have a constant conversation going on in our head. I can hear him, but this is what I think, and this is what I heard, or did I really hear it? How did you navigate through that? Because a lot of women are navigating through that right in this moment. How did you know it was your time to shine, Marchetta?
Gloria, you know what? It took a lot of self-talk. It took a lot of self-talk, and it also took, what we call personal development. It also took me having people that were entrepreneurs to be able to confide in and talk to. And even during the first part of my transition, when I didn't have that or when I didn't know anybody, I really did rely on faith. And I had to talk to myself. I know that may sound cliche-ish or what have you, but the word of God says that death and life is in the power of our tongue. So I'm standing on that foundation. That's for me. So I had to tell myself, yes, you can do this. If you did it, at the command of someone else when someone else was paying you to do it. Why can't you do that for yourself? First of all, it starts with loving yourself, loving me. I loved me enough to say, hey, I can absolutely do this. So I began to read books. I began to follow others who I saw wanted to be where who were where I wanted to be. So yes, it gets tough. Yes, you question yourself. Yes, you're going to think like, okay, I don't know if I can do this. And I want to let ladies know it's okay. It's okay not to know. It's okay. I came up with the thing that I would tell myself. If you knew it and you blew it, you can still redo it. So if I knew
I love that. If you knew it and you blew it, you can still redo it.
I can still redo it. So if you knew it and you blew it, you can still redo it. And so that's what kept me charged and kept me going, Gloria.
Yeah.
Love that.
Okay. That one right
I ran
there.
out of ink. I got to find my pen so I can write that down.
Because that is a big one, especially in this world that we live in, because we beat ourselves up so much about being perfect, and perfect is not where we are. Perfect is not where we are. I want to give some women in business statistics before we go to break really quickly. 47% of women started a business just in the last year, compared to 44% of men. Financial independence. The first reason is because they wanted to pursue their passion. This is so interesting. Women started business because they wanted to pursue their passion. And the second reason they started is because they wanted financial independence. And so we're going to talk a little bit after the break, Marchetta, too, about your desire to go into the financial literacy. Because not only did you go into entrepreneurship, but you went into literacy. You guys, we're going to come back and talk about women in business. We're talking about it's your time to shine for real. Marchetta Hill is bringing the heat and talking about how you make and navigate that way. So many women are going to be empowered by this conversation because you're listening to We Got Issues, the 9:10 a.m., the Superstation out of Detroit, WFDF. You got the force of friendship, and our friendship, it will be your force. Talk to you guys in just a second after the commercial break. Here we go. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, I am loving this conversation. These statistics were so big. Listen to this statistic, y'all. Listen to this statistic. 62% of women business owners are between the age of 40 and 59 years old. I was like, oh, this is really interesting because I really did think it was younger. About 80% of those women have college degrees. 80% have college degrees. They're between the age of 40 and 59 years old. What an audience, you guys. What an audience. Women own 12.3 million businesses in the United States. And if you do the math, that's 42% of the companies. More than 9 million people are employed by women-owned businesses. So when you're talking to women about entrepreneurship, you need to know they're interested. You need to know they're leaning in. You need to know the conversation is first the regular conversation, which is, you can't do it. What do you think you're doing? What is it going to take? Blah, 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 blah. But these statistics show us that women are very, very interested. Listen to this. Women of color are responsible for 89% of the newly created businesses in 2019.
Wow.
82?
89% of the businesses
89%.
are women of color. The number increased nearly 163% in the last 45 years. 260 African-American women, listen to this, 260 African-American women open a new business every day. Right? Every day.
Wow.
It's astonishing. And it's a pretty incredible statistic because women of color only make up 39% of the female population. So it is a very big deal. $390 billion in revenue. Women are, we hear that, we hear that, but to hear it like this. Okay, so Marchetta, back to you. You're sitting in that group. 5 years ago, you're like, oh no, I'm getting ready to take this on. So what about this for you made you do it such that you wanted to go into financial literacy?
Okay. Great question. At the time, Gloria, even though I was a 6-figure plus earner in corporate, just because you're making a lot of money doesn't mean that you necessarily hone the skills or possess the skills in money management. So just to be transparent, yes, I earned the money, but as far as executing wisely or making right choices with it, that didn't always happen. And I'm not afraid or ashamed to say that. And so when you make wrong choices, you have to deal with wrong circumstances, wrong situations, wrong things happening in your life. And so it was at a point to where I said, okay, I'm on this journey. I have these skills. I can be creative, but my money is a little bit of a mess right now. So to make that transition, as I learned how to better do things with my finances, then it was like a light click, like ding, 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 ding. You're a server. You're a servant. You can help other women do this and not be ashamed in doing so. We all make mistakes. We all have a story. So that's what it was for me. It's like, okay, in the financial industry, we did not grow up. I will speak for myself. I did not particularly grow up learning about finances, or it wasn't something that my parents, particularly shared. They did their best, but it wasn't something that I learned. So as I possessed the skills and tools and all of the education to learn how to better deal with my finances, I said, hey, this is what I could do. This is my platform. I love to share. I love to give. So why not be able to teach others how to start to leave a financial legacy for their future generation?
Right. Now, can you help people in all states? How do people find you if you can help people in all states?
Okay. They can find me. I am on Instagram at Shetta Shares Success and on Facebook at Shetta Shares. They can find me there as well. I am actually rebuilding my website. Oh, Lord, I'm so excited about all the opportunities and the things to come. So I will have a whole nother platform for you to be able to reach me. I don't want to put too much out there, but I'm super, super excited about it. But yes, but until then, you can reach me via Instagram, via Facebook on my pages there. Absolutely.
Okay, but you have to let us in a little bit. You have to let us in that kind of excitement and passion about your website. You know, you with the force of friendship. You know, we don't tell no secrets on here. We just tell everybody on the radio station, but we don't tell no secrets. Okay, so lean in a little bit and tell us why you're so passionate about what's getting ready to come.
I'm passionate about because this title, it's my time to shine. You know, I have spent so much time, you know, serving others and helping others, even within my own platform, giving advice and being there for others, helping other women in entrepreneurship and building up their businesses. So I am super excited, you know, about my own, to take ownership and say, hey, it's my time to be able to share on a platform and to reach women who are just like me, who have a story. You know, I heard you give different statistics. Well, you know, when you don't come from a necessarily high pedigree or perfect pedigree, if you will, I want to address those women to say, hey, that's okay. You can do it. You can do whatever you set your mind to. And although that may sound cliche, it's absolutely true. You absolutely can. It doesn't matter where you start from. I've gone from, in my life, to be transparent, to being homeless. There was a time in my life where that did take place. So to me, it's like time out for excuses and time in for execution. So,
Marchetta, this is really good.
Marchetta,
really good. Thank you so much for joining us today. What advice would you give? Because there are women out there, they've been dreaming, they've been praying, they've been thinking, but they are not ready to take the move, make the move. They're not ready to execute. What would the first three things be that you would tell our listening audience? Because there are so many women who want what you've done, but they have not had the guts to do it. What are the top three things that they need to implement right away to make a move?
First and foremost, I would say self-love. And you know, again, some of these things sound cliche-ish, but it is true. If it's true, it's true, it's true. Self-love, loving yourself enough. Secondly, I would say,
okay, but Marchetta, that's easier said than done. Self-love. You know, there are women, they say, I love myself. I need to love myself better. How do you practice self-love? What does self-love 101 look like?
By releasing yourself and allowing yourself to be okay with loving you, making yourself first, putting you first. Because that's my background. You know, I put my family first. I put being a mom first. I put being a wife, you know, first. And it's like, oh, okay, these are my dreams, but you know, I'll get there. It'll be my time. There's nothing wrong with putting yourself first. I'm glad you honed in on that, Sabrina. You're absolutely correct. I would say there's nothing wrong with putting you first. Put you first. Secondly, I like to say you have to gyp yourself. And when I say gyp, I use a lot of acronyms that I make, and that's GYP. And GYP stands for guard your portals. So see, when you're in that time of transition, and what I mean by portals, the things that you see, the people that you're around, the things that you hear, you have to gyp yourself, because you're in that transition of saying, hey, I can do this. I'm okay with loving myself and putting myself first. But then you may have that, you know, that girlfriend, that high school friend, and say, girl, what are you doing? You got a good life. You got a good man, girl. He taking care of all of these. What you got to do, you free with your time. You got to guard your portals. You got to guard what you see, what you hear, who your circle of friends are. And then thirdly, I would say it still comes down to education. So when I say education, it doesn't necessarily mean you may not be that person that wants to sit in a classroom, but you definitely have to acquire some type of knowledge as to where you want to go or where you want to be, what avenue you want to take. So those are the three things for me. And that second one is my favorite. Gyp yourself. Gyp yourself. You have to guard your portals. Is highly important, because
thank you.
Even at night, what I would do is I would put on tapes and listen to people that, you know, who were inspiring, or inspirational to me, or who were where I wanted to be. Because the fact of the matter is that our brains, lady, they don't sleep. Our minds don't sleep. I know some of y'all done fell asleep watching TV and you done had a dream about what was on the set. So if you, I know it's not just me.
Right.
So when you're sleeping and you putting on that, Think and Grow Rich, when you got when you're listening to things and you got your portals open, those are the things that are going to help propel you, what you get in your mind. Because what comes out of your mouth, it's a thought first, right? You think about it first.
Right.
Then it's produced through your mouth. So that's
Marchetta, when you're protecting your portal and you have a girlfriend, a lot of us don't cut them off when we know we need to. We don't shut them down when they're saying the things that we know they need to say. So since we're girlfriend experts, what advice do you give to women when they're protecting and guarding themselves, when they have someone who wants to give them the wrong stuff?
Gotcha. Well, sometimes this is tough, and it was a tough lesson for me. Through every season of your life that you're going to go through, some people are just not going to go with you. So what I did was, and this may sound mean, but sometimes you just, you have to block people. You really, really do. When you're going down the street and you can't go any further because they have up these signs and those roadblocks, you can't go. What do? You go around. So these are the things that you're going to have to do. Sometimes you may have to block them, and this may include family members. Hey, girl, I'm on a mission. I have something going for my life. I love you. I'll be there for you to support you. But right now, I need your support of me. And if they're not coming along on that journey, I want women to know it's okay for you to release them. Right?
Yeah.
It's absolutely okay. See, I can help you out, but I can't bring you out. So if I have to release you in that moment. Doesn't mean I'm done with you. Doesn't mean I don't love you. Doesn't mean I don't care. I won't be there for you. But you have to be willing to fully release and be able to say to them, okay, girl, that's not conducive to my plan.
I love that. That's not conducive to my plan. That's not conducive to my plan. Let me tell you, I'm going to help you, but right now I need you to help me right now, because that's where we're going right now. And I'm going to pick you up in just a little while, but I'm not going to pick you up right now. We got issues, y'all. We got issues. This show is named so appropriate. Marchetta got issues. Sabrina, Chris, Caterina, and Gloria, we all got issues. You've had the force of friendship, and we'll be right back in just a few minutes after this commercial, because you're listening to 910 a.m. the Superstation WFDF out of Detroit. We'll be right back when we got issues. Oh my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. I'm so very excited about this topic. I am completely juiced up because we're all on the same page of making such a difference for people. Okay, so listen to this, you guys. A couple more stats. 10% of females launched their business in the healthcare sector. And I think we were talking about that earlier, how if you're in the healthcare sector, you will not go wrong. But 10%, that's a big number. Listen to this one. 88% of all women-owned businesses generated less than $100,000 last year. 88%. Wow. That means there's a lot of opportunities here. There are only 4.2 that generated more than $1 million. Only 4.2 generated more than $1 million. So again, there's a lot of avenues out here. The unicorn company is something that's started up and takes itself to more than $1 billion. So we're looking at that as well. So, women are out here doing it. Hispanic women-owned businesses, listen to this statistic, grew 172% in the last 10 years. Hispanic women businesses. And they have $97 billion in revenue. So, when we used to say this a lot amongst us, it's the year of the women. It's the year of the women. It's the year of the women. In several different avenues, it's the year of the women. So it's really exciting to see what you're talking about, Marchetta. What we talk about a lot is that it's there for us, like really there for us.
Hey, Gloria. Gloria, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, there's an echo in the background. I'm not sure where that's coming from. But what I was going to say is, just listening to the statistics that you're giving, and Marchetta, thank you so much for being with us on today. You have given us so much information. You've given us so much insight as to what it takes to be an entrepreneur and, what you have to do to fight to become an entrepreneur. But just listening to the statistics and how many women are seemingly stepping out of their comfort zone to start their own business, for entrepreneurs who are looking, to meet women and to share with them, opportunities that will afford them an opportunity to be at home. I know, we've been saying, and I know, Caterina, you said it, you were the first person that I heard say brick and mortar is out of order. And so, so many women have left the traditional workforce, and so many are excited about doing something on their own. And so I know it used to be a thing where people were a little afraid to approach people about, this sales company or that sales company. And now it sounds like this, if ever there was a time for you to open your mouth and to talk to women about an opportunity, this is the time to do it. While one person may say no, there are so many people are saying, please, please, please offer it to me, because I literally want an opportunity. So it's just a great reminder to us that there's so much opportunity out there. You just got to be willing to step out your comfort zone and say, hey, if you don't ASK, you won't GET.
Right.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Marchetta, I want to thank you. First of all, I'm doing a training in about 2 hours for some entrepreneurs. And I just went to my notes that I had already written and added in about 5 or 6 of your statements.
Me too, Caterina. Me too.
So thank you for giving me, we can take a line and train on it for 20 minutes. So I appreciate you so much. First of all, I want you to spell your Instagram, because some people were asking and it might not have transferred correctly on the radio. So if you could say that. And then my question is, when you go into, I'm the best boss I've ever had. I don't ever want another boss, but there are ups and downs along the way, and how to keep yourself motivated, and even how you, if you've worked in a structured environment, coming home and working from home, it lacks structure. Like, can you talk about how you motivated yourself and how you got to the point of being your own boss? Because that doesn't come easily when you've had a boss, your whole life, for a lot of people. Are you able to hear, Marchetta? It's frozen on this end.
I wonder if she could hear us.
Okay. I'm not sure.
Marchetta, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Oh, we can now.
Great.
Okay.
Were you able to hear my question, Marchetta?
I didn't hear the last.
Okay. If you want to give your say your Instagram, if you want to spell it phonetically so everyone can get it, and then just talk about how you develop the discipline and the structure of being at home through the ups and downs of entrepreneurship.
I'm having trouble hearing.
Okay, so we have Kalea put her IG in there.
Oh, good. Okay, her IG is there, so I can say that, Gloria, for the radio audience.
Apologize. I'm having a little bit of trouble here.
CHETTA Shetta Shares, SHARES. So Shetta Shares at Shetta Shares on IG. So we're all going to Instagram to follow her. Thanks, I love that. Right. I don't know if you can hear the question at all, or any of us.
Can you hear the question about your structure?
No, I cannot. I'm having some difficulty, ladies. I do apologize. So I didn't hear that question. If someone can repeat it, I'd be more than happy to answer.
Okay.
Yes. Can you hear me now, Marchetta? I think it's not.
If one of you can, I'm not hearing
you better, Gloria.
Maybe you can hear me. So the question was, Marchetta, I think you'd be excellent at answering this question. When you made this move from corporate to entrepreneurship, how did you create a structure in your home-based business? Because a lot of people lack their ability to create structure so they can operate well.
Okay, great question. We often hear, when you have a vision or something that you want to do, you have to write it down. And that's just so simple. So that's how I started, because like millions of thousands of other women, I didn't know exactly where to start myself. I knew to write things down. So I wrote down what it is that I wanted to do, what it is that I was passionate about, what skills did I possess? How could I take these things and turn them into entrepreneurship, if you will. Secondly, I acquired the knowledge. I went through programs and things like SCORE, and through the SBA and, acquiring. And I asked friends too, when I didn't know. And we have this great thing out there, ladies, that we use every day called Googler, as my mama called it, Googler. I know it's Google. It sounds so, I don't know if I can say that over the radio. I apologize. But, just what you don't know, you can acquire. Everything is accessible to us now. So those were the things that I did. I know it sounds simple, but sometimes simple is best. I think we get this, we get so rattled in our minds to say, oh, I'm not qualified, or, oh, I don't possess this, or I don't know what to do. So start with writing it down. What is it that you want to do? What is it that you are passionate about? Pull out those skills that you already possess. If you're a great mom, that's entrepreneurship in itself. Honey, that is running a business, especially if you are running a household. If you have more than one child, think about your children, replace them with employees, how you manage them, how you manage your time. So I would just start with that, simply writing down. That's the structure that worked for me. Was writing my vision down, writing the things that I wanted to do, writing down the things that I was passionate about, and then went about acquiring the knowledge about how I'm going to possess this, how I'm going to do it. So it may sound simple, but sometimes simple is best.
That's perfect. That's perfect. One of the statistics I was reading about was 5 ways to get your groove back. 5 ways to get your groove back. One was just what you said. Acknowledge what you've already done. If it's raising children, if it's doing something in the home, outside of home, but acknowledge what you've done. Number 2, adopt a beginner's mindset. That means act as if you've never done it before and be open to everything that's new. Number 3, I love this. Get your twerk on. That means you need to party and dance like nobody's watching. Turn the music up really loud and let yourself go. And that goes back to that self-love that we know about. And then number 4, which we love to talk about on We Got Issues, treat your body like a temple. In other words, take supplements. That's our new thing. Take supplements. And number 5, envision your body image. Envision your body image. Marchetta Hill, you have been a dream. It's your time to shine. She is yelling it from the staircase. It is your time to shine. She's shining. She shined today. Oh, we got issues. We absolutely loved it. We loved your energy. We loved your excellence. And we loved your entrepreneurship. We got issues. And this is the Force of Friendship. 9:10 a.m. the Superstation. We got tomorrow's show. Who's doing tomorrow's show?
I'm doing tomorrow's show. We're talking about diversity and equality in corporate America.
Awesome. Yes, we're here from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day, Monday through Friday. We'll see you tomorrow on We Got Issues. It's going to be awesome. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.